Hi, this is Bravo21 glider pilot and sim developer, and this is the Schleicher K7 two-seater, the model developed with a great deal of care and attention by GlideSimmer67, and I've helped him out with the programming in the flight model. And this plane is now ready. It is uploaded to flightsim.to. It is freeware. I will put a link to where it is on flightsim.to beneath this video, but you'll be able to find it easy enough if you go to that website and just from the menu above. Unfortunately it's under other, but if you click other and then click gliders, you'll see all the freeware gliders that are available on that site, which is all of them for Microsoft Flight Simulator. But now we're up to, I think, 7 gliders now, and this is all before the gliding update has come from Asobo, which we're expecting approximately in November. Okay, so it's a wooden fabric glider. GlideSimmer67 really has paid a huge amount of attention. It's got wooden fabric wings, it's got a steel tube, fabric covered steel tube fuselage, has a skid on the front so you can help it slow down by just pushing the nose. It's legit to just push the nose into the ground as you're trundling on after having landed, and that will help bring it to a stop. And if you look inside the glider, you'll see this is very very well modeled, including all sorts of details that probably nobody's ever going to see. Okay, so I'll give you an instruction to it. Take it for a spin. The winch is programmed onto the tow release button. It's configured to the same hotkey, if you've programmed that the other gliders can use. Take up slack. This is a very, very easy glider to fly, and everything happens far more slowly than it does in the much higher wing loading fiberglass gliders. Okay, we've got a crosswind from the right, but if I keep the glider more or less straight, we'll be okay. I'm watching the speed on the ASI. There are two kind of variometers on this glider. There's a smaller one near the top of the panel, which is a total energy vario, and then there's the larger dial, which if you look at it carefully isn't a linear dial. It's more sensitive between plus and minus 1 than it is between plus and minus 5 and plus and minus 10. But that is just a plain old VSI, vertical speed indicator. We thought that was reasonable for a glider that originated in 1960. That it would be relatively rare to see one of those today. But this is all about training, this glider. And if you're ever mind to, you'll be able to watch the total energy vario, i.e. the smaller gauge. That's us pinging off the winch. I wasn't paying attention to our attitude. Yeah, the smaller gauge at the top of the panel is the total energy vario. Oops, I took off with the spoilers open. I've just closed them. Okay, there's going to be ridge lift to our left. Oop, that's just the difference between the animation inside and outside the plane. I could probably tidy that up. Okay, so yeah, am I facing north? I'm looking at the compass. Yeah, this is more or less north, which means this is the interwind hillside. We should pick up, assuming the wind is still set, we should pick up some ridge lift this side. Now we're getting sink. Well, the weather's okay. Getting a little bit lift. Maybe now's a good time to compare the total energy vario, i.e. the smaller one here and this vertical speed indicator. You can see the vertical speed indicator going up and down, up, down, and up, and down, and right. And of course, those are not thermals. Okay, that's not ridge lift either. That's just me moving the stick back and forth. That is the difference between a vertical speed indicator. We're picking up some ridge lift here, I think. See, if you look at the total energy vario showing lift on this slope, as does the vertical speed indicator, they're both showing we're going up. But the difference between the two is that vertical speed indicator is just showing us the pure reading. It's not taking into account the fact that I may be pushing the stick forward and consequently lowering the nose, or pulling the stick back and raising the nose, even by a small amount. That might cause us to climb, or it might cause us to descend. But the total energy vario detects that the plane is accelerating. Like when you push the nose forward, you don't just descend, you actually accelerate as well. It detects that acceleration part because it's taking a feed from the pitot pressure, and it is using that to compensate the feed from the static pressure to get these things right. Anyway, so this glider is perfectly nice to fly. There is some adverse yaw in it. If you watch the yaw string, the red wool that's attached to that pitot tube that's sticking out the front of the cockpit, if I yaw the plane, I'm just turning the rudder here and flying sideways, you can see that red piece of wool is skewing off to one side, and that tells you you are not flying straight. You're flying slightly at an angle to the wind. That's the whole point of the yaw string. And in fact, if we bring this into land, something I've been thinking about doing in the gliding basics videos, talking about landings. I have this K7 is pretty much identical to the K13 that replaced it. And yeah, flying a K13, the spoilers handle that's down here on the left, that actually broke off in my hand when I was training. I did have the instructor in the back with me as well, but yeah, I went to pull on that lever and it just parted company with the aircraft, and we used it as a reason. Let's do a landing without spoilers and see how we get on. And I'll do the same. Trying to make excuse myself from launching on the way. I didn't do any of the checks, and I just took off with the air brakes open, which would have been suicidal. Okay, so we've got the airport down there somewhere, I think. Yeah, it's behind us now. I think I'll turn around. I'm assuming it's not very far behind us. I'll turn around and have a look. It's got pretty strong air brakes. Look, there you go. Here's something you can do. In this glider, it doesn't accelerate very fast at all. So we just burned off a huge amount of height then. There's the runway up ahead. Oh, okay, right. Let's pretend we haven't got air brakes. I'll see if I can land. And the technique is to you cross your controls. Okay, if you look at the yaw string, I've got the rudder hard over and I've lowered the wing that is now forward. If you look at this from outside, you see I'm flying. Whoop. There we go. See if I can do it from outside. There. I'm flying straight, but if you look at the rudder, I'm yawing hard with the rudder, but I'm stopping the plane turning by putting the port wing lower than the starboard wing. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to land like this, but let's have a look inside. Here we go. Right. See what I'm doing now. Okay, this is a side slip. Right. I'm going to take it up again. You only get one shot at landing. Okay. I've burnt some speed off and I'm going to side slip again. I am going to try and get into this field. It might not be on the runway. If I don't burn this energy off, we're not going to land. There you go. I'm not using the wheel brake either. I'll push the nose forward. Okay, so yeah, that was a side slip landing with no air brakes. I think we'd have been taking it more seriously if we'd been doing that for real. And it's all come together. So very basic set of instruments, very nicely modeled in 3D. Everything on this radio is in 3D, including those numbers are actually three-dimensional rotating cylinders with the numbers painted on. You know, absolutely fantastic. Proper TE vario and proper programming for this yaw string here, so that the plane is as flyable as the real one. Just all in all, really fun glider. And if you're just starting out, it's a great glider to start in. You know, to start your flying in this, gradually get better, find a thermal, climb, before you progress up to, say, the LS4 or the Discus, which are, you know, unflapped standard class gliders. And then you'll start looking at ballast, which is much heavier. And you'll find you can fly faster and faster. You know, the performances of the gliders is so high. But you probably don't want to jump into setting world championship winning cross-country speeds the first glider you've never even flown before, because flying in a sim can lure you into that it's just not real. You know, if you you know, you've set the conditions so strong that you could fly a plank, you know, in those conditions. So yeah, my recommendation is, if you are new to this thing, is you know, work your way through the planes, and I honestly think you'll learn more and you'll enjoy it more. Thanks very much.